In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. That's not just a tagline, it's the foundational truth of the 41st millennium. It is a fact that colors every single aspect of a life, defined by conflict, hatred, and fear. The battlefields of this age are charnel houses you can't even imagine, where billions are crushed under monstrous war machines, eaten by alien swarms, or just erased by energies torn from the heart of madness itself. A clean death, a quick end from a chainsword or in the flash of a last blast. That's a mercy. It's a quiet, simple end to a life of struggle. But for some, the real horror isn't found on the battlefield. It's not in the finality of death. It's found in what comes after, or what comes instead. Some fates are so soul-shattering that they stand as monuments to the sheer depravity of a galaxy that has completely forgotten peace. These aren't just punishments, they are eternal torments, the methodical deconstruction of body, mind, and soul, long after death would have been a gift. So, what is the single worst possible fate in Warhammer 40,000? Today, we're going to try and answer that. We'll journey into the darkest corners of the lore to rank the most horrific punishments imaginable, counting down from the merely terrifying to a final act so vile, so deliberately cruel, it stands alone as the galaxy's most depraved act. Kicking off our list at number 5 is a fate that is fundamental to the setting's horror. This isn't a punishment from a specific tormentor, but more like a fundamental law of physics in a broken reality. This is the fate of being exposed, unprotected, to the Imperium. The raw, unfiltered chaos of the warp. To get this, you first have to understand what the warp actually is. The Imperium of Man, in its usual dogmatic way, calls it a means of FTL travel, a dangerous but necessary medium. It's so much more than that. The warp, or the Sea of Souls, is a dimension of pure psychic energy, mirroring our universe and reflecting the thoughts and emotions of every sentient creature for millennia. The rage, ambition, despair, and lust of countless species have bled into this realm, forming a roiling, sentient ocean of madness. It's a dimension where thought becomes real, and that reality is a nightmare. This is the home of the Chaos Gods, a place no mortal was ever meant to see. For most of humanity, the only time they encounter this realm is from behind the golden shimmer of a Geller field. This device projects a bubble of stable reality around a starship, shielding it from the horrors scratching at the hull. Even then, the journey is terrifying. Whispers of demons can bleed through, and crew are plagued by nightmares, but as long as that field holds, the ship stays anchored to sanity. The horror begins when it fails. A Geller field collapse isn't a power outage, it's the dam holding back an ocean of insanity, instantly vanishing. In a split second, the ship is submerged in the stuff of chaos itself. The laws of physics? Gone. Time and space become loose suggestions. And the crew? They're subjected to an agony that goes way beyond the physical. Unprotected exposure to the warp means your very essence is unmade. The raw energy scours your soul before it even touches your flesh. Your thoughts are no longer yours. They're a screaming chorus of demonic voices and the echoes of every atrocity ever committed. Your mind is shredded, torn apart, and scattered into the psychic storm. While your mind is annihilated, your body endures a grotesque transformation. Flesh melts and runs like wax, reforming into blasphemous new shapes. A person might find Their arms have become tentacles of writhing eyeballs, or their spine erupts from their back as a pillar of weeping bone. Others are just turned inside out, their existence a screaming monument of exposed viscera that lives and feels for an eternity that could last a moment or 10,000 years. For some, it's possession. A demon seizes the opportunity, forcing its way into the mortal shell and wearing the body like a suit of flesh. The victim is still conscious, a prisoner in their own skull, forced to watch their hands slaughter their crewmates. The most merciful end here is becoming a chaos spawn. The body is so overwhelmed by warp energy it collapses into a mindless, mewling horror. A chaotic mass of flesh and bone driven by pure agony. The original person is gone, leaving only a monster that's usually put down by its former allies, without a second thought. This fate is number 5 because it's impersonal, like drowning in a cosmic ocean. The warp doesn't hate you, it's just its nature to unmake you. It's swift. In its own infinitely agonizing way, the horrors further down this list, they're far more deliberate, far more intimate, and far, far worse. Section 2, number 4, The Curse of Lucius the Eternal. From the impersonal horror of the warp, we now turn to a fate that is deeply, cruelly personal. This is a punishment born from the twisted affection of a dark god, a curse that targets the very best and turns their greatest strength against them. At number 4 is the endless, recursive agony of becoming Lucius the Eternal. To understand this curse, you need to understand the man. Lucius was an Emperor's Children's Space Marine, renowned even among his perfect brothers for his sublime swordsmanship and bottomless arrogance. He was flawless in combat, a duelist without peer, and he knew it. This pride made him a prime target for Slaanesh, the chaos god of excess and pride. As the Emperor's children fell to chaos, Lucius became a champion. His pride is defining trait. Slaanesh chose to reward this with a gift of twisted immortality. Lucius can truly be killed if an enemy strikes him down, and that foe feels even a flicker of pride or satisfaction in the act. A terrible transformation begins. This is the core of the curse. It doesn't punish the weak, it punishes the skilled, the triumphant, the warrior who just killed one of the most dangerous duelists in the galaxy. Imagine it. You've just faced Lucius in single combat, and against all odds, you win. Your blade finds its mark, the champion falls, your warriors cheer, you've slain a legend. In that moment, you feel a surge of pride. It's a natural reaction. It's also your death sentence. The curse isn't immediate. At first, it's just whispers. You start seeing Lucius in reflections. Your hair might begin to pale. Unfamiliar scars, the very ones that adorned Lucius' flesh, trace their way across your skin. Panic sets in. Your own features begin to warp, becoming more androgynous and cruel. Your body is betraying you, rewriting itself into the form of the man you killed. The pride you felt curdles into pure terror. Your comrades wash in horror as the person they knew is erased, overwritten by a returning monster. The final stage is the most horrific. Your body complies its transformation. You are Lucius now, and the final, sickening proof of your defeat is your own face, contorted in an eternal scream, which appears as a new living mask upon the baroque power armor of Lucius the Eternal. Your soul is trapped within that screaming visage, a permanent, shrieking testament to your failure, your identity utterly consumed by your enemy. One of the most famous examples is Commander series of the Ultramarines, whose pride in defending the Imperium was the key to his doom. The curse is a perfect Slaaneshi trap. It ensures its champion can only ever be truly defeated by the humble, who are unlikely to ever best him in the first place. For any true warrior, victory is just a prelude to being consumed. Some fates are a sudden shock, others are a slow, creeping tide of filth that drowns you in despair. Coming in at number 3 is maybe the most infamous disease in the galaxy. A spiritual plague created by the grandfather of pestilence. This is the horror of Nurgle's rot. Nurgle is the chaos god of disease, decay, and rebirth. He's a contradiction, a jovial figure who sees the plagues he unleashes not as terror, but as gifts. He loves all life, and his ultimate desire is to share his feculent blessings with everyone. To get one of these gifts is to be set on a path of unimaginable suffering. Nurgle's rot is his masterpiece. It's an incurable, soul-corrupting plague designed for maximum torment. It starts subtly, a cough, a fever, a sore that won't heal, but it doesn't pass. It gets worse. The physical decay is relentless. The body bloats with foul liquids. The skin erupts in weeping buboes, and strange growths may sprout from the flesh. The victim is in constant, agonizing pain. Yet the disease refuses to let them die. It's not designed to kill quickly. It's designed to break the spirit. But the physical torment is only half of it. The real weapon of Nurgle's rot is despair. As the body decays, so does the mind. Hope is the first casualty. The victim feels their life force seeping away, replaced by a morbid lethargy. As the disease hits its final stages, the victim is a shambling, bloated wreck. In this moment of ultimate surrender, the final violation occurs. Upon death, the body collapses. And from this putrescence, a new life is born. A plague bearer, a lesser daimon of Nurgle. But this isn't just a new creature. The plague bearer is born from the victim's own soul. Their consciousness, their memories, everything they once were, is trapped inside this new demonic form. They are now a foot soldier in Nurgle's legions, a shambling, horned creature with a single cyclopean eye. Their new existence is endless, monotonous servitude, tasked with counting the ever-changing number of plagues in Nurgle's garden, an impossible, maddening task. They remember their mortal life, but that person's gone, imprisoned within a monstrous form, aware of their damnation for eternity. We've seen the dissolution of the self, the theft of identity, and the corruption of the soul. Now, we go to a place where pain isn't a means to an end, but the end itself. A place where suffering is an art form, a science and a currency. Our runner-up for the worst fate is to become a plaything for the Drukhari in the Dark City, Comra. The Drukhari, or Dark Eldar, are depraved torturers living in a labyrinthine city hidden within the webway. They are afflicted by a terrible curse. Their souls are constantly being drained by the chaos god, Slaanesh. To stop this decay, they must feed on the intense emotions of others, and no emotion is more potent than pure agony. To be captured by the Drukhari is to be condemned to a life of torture, so extreme the mind can't comprehend it. Death is a release they will not grant you until every last drop of suffering has been extracted. Your journey begins in the slave pens. You might be thrown into the gladiatorial arenas, but that's a merciful fate. The real horror is for those who attract the attention of the homunculi covens. No, the homunculi are are flesh sculptors and artists of pain. To them, your body is a canvas, your screams a symphony. They possess a knowledge of biology that surpasses the Imperium's tech priests. They will dissect you while you're fully conscious, flay you layer by layer, and subject you to pain engines that harvest body parts or siphon your very soul. Their creativity is limitless. They might reshape you into a grotesque living sculpture, meld you into a wall, or trap your consciousness in a crystal of perpetual agony. And should your body fail, they will simply let you die, and then resurrect you on a cold slab, your body fully restored, ready for the next session. The Homunculi are masters of resurrection, a tool they use to prolong torment indefinitely. There is no escape. You are no longer a person, you are a resource, a crop to be harvested for thousands of years. It's a fate so devoid of hope that it almost claimed the top spot. Almost. But there is one fate, one final act of depravity that surpasses even this. We've reached the end. We've seen cosmic horror, soul damnation, and artistic pain, but our number one spot is for a fate that combines physical mutilation, psychological degradation, and a perversion of the natural order so profound it stands alone. The single worst fate in Warhammer 40,000 is to become a host for the Demonculaba. This horror wasn't made by a dark god or an alien race. It was engineered by mortals, the Iron Warriors Chaos Space Marines, on their diamond world of Medrengard. Specifically, it was the masterwork of the warsmith Hansu, who wanted a fast way to create new Chaos Space Marines using stolen Imperial Fist's gene seed. His solution was the Demonculaba. The name means demon incubator, and it's horribly literal. The process starts with captured women. They are taken to lightless dungeons, drugged into terrified confusion, and then physically altered. Their bodies are grotesquely swollen and mutated by warp energy and foul surgery. Their limbs are amputated, and their bodies are bolted into machinery, becoming little more than living, helpless wombs. They are kept alive and fully aware. Their terror is a necessary part of the process. They are fed a nutrient slurry made from the recycled flesh of failed experiments. Then comes the central violation. An adolescent boy is implanted with gene seed before the transformation completes. He is surgically implanted into the living flesh of one of the female hosts in a blasphemous reverse Caesarean section. The host is conscious for every second of it. For months, the Demonculaba nurtures the monster inside her. When the gestation is complete, the new Chaos Space Marine is violently and crudely cut from her body. If the host survives, she isn't granted death. She's stitched back together and prepared for the next implantation, forced to endure the cycle of violation, gestation, and mutilation again and again. Her mind is annihilated over and over, trapped in an endless loop of biological horror. And the children, most are flawed, twisted freaks. These failures are either killed and recycled into the slurry, or cast out as the unfleshed, living monuments to agony. What makes the Demonculaba the undisputed worst fate is its sheer calculated profanity. It's a profane industrial process born from spite and pragmatism. It is the ultimate defilement of life and motherhood, engineered by mortals just to make more soldiers. It reduces a person to biological machinery. This singular horror became so infamous it drew the wrath of the Ultramarines, whose Captain Uriel Ventris led an assault on Medrengard specifically to destroy these abominations. They succeeded, purging the fortress and putting the tormented hosts to the flame. an act of mercy that underscored the depravity they had witnessed. The Demonculaba is not just pain, it's pollution. It's a fate worse than death and worse than damnation. It is the absolute zero of suffering in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So there you have it. We've gone from the chaos of the warp to the sterile torture labs of the Dark City, and into the birthing pits of Midgard. Each fate is its own special kind of damnation that strips away hope, identity, and humanity, until nothing is left but a raw, screaming sensation. The 41st millennium is a universe built on suffering, where the capacity for cruelty seems truly limitless. These fates are a grim reminder that in a galaxy where billions die every day, a simple death is the greatest mercy you can hope for. But this is just one ranking. The catalog of horrors in this universe is vast. There are the mindless servitors, the sinner-fueled penitent engines, or the impersonal horror of being consumed by a tyrannid hive fleet. So now I'm turning it over to you. What do you think is the worst possible fate in Warhammer 40,000? What unspeakable torment from the lore keeps you up at night? Let me know your rankings in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you all believe is the ultimate horror. And if you enjoy exploring the darkest corners of this grim, dark universe, consider subscribing for more lore deep dives. Thanks for joining me on this bleak journey. Until next time.